Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Easysoft online ledger review. My name is Heather O'Brien, and I am the product support specialist here at Easysoft. Today, I'll be going through the features offered and how easy it is to populate the ledger. Prior to using this, you'll want to make sure that you fill in pages 1 through 3 of the CD or pages 1 and 2 of the HUD, so the proper transactions will show in the ledger. I've already gone ahead and created a CD to save time and to show you the payments and deposits that populate automatically. When initially accessing the ledger, you will have a notification stating once the disbursement ledger is prepared, subsequent changes made in the purchase will not be reflected in the ledger. Meaning, if there are any modifications to the closing after initially importing, you'll need to click Reimport to update the ledger. The Reimport option is within each ledger over to the left. Please note that any transactions that you've added or manually changed will be removed if you click Reimport. We have a feature where you can actually add a transaction in separate from the CD. This is our general transaction box. You'll see at the top that you can enter a payment or mark a deposit and even check if it's a wire payment. You can change the date, add a reference number if you're printing checks outside of our software, enter the payee information with the amount and the address, and enter a memo at the bottom if you choose to do so. Once I save this, my ledger will update, and at the bottom you'll see that my additional transaction is showing. If I add a transaction and mark this as a wire payment, you'll be able to see this easily within the ledger. So you'll see that there's a wire column, and as you scroll down, it's checked, so you won't miss any of these wire payments. I did mention earlier, if you click Reimport, anything that you've added or edited will be removed, and I'll show you this feature now. If I click Reimport, it will warn me if you continue, any changes made in the ledger will be lost and the original CD file data will be imported. Once I click Continue, you'll see that the 2 payments I had just entered are now removed. I do also want to let you know we have a feature in our software where you can mark payments as net. If you utilize this feature and you mark any of your payments as net, they will not populate into the ledger. However, you will be able to view them on the lender worksheet. You can print your lender worksheet from our print menu. It'll download a copy to your computer, and you'll see the lender worksheet lists out the borrower and the seller information with the property address, your file number, settlement date, and the lender. Below that, you'll see any payments with net checked for those payments specifically. Again, remember, those payments will not populate into your ledger. The ledger itself will show you all the information at the top for the closing. So you'll see your buyers and your sellers information, your property address, and the transaction summary. The transaction summary is going to list out the amount of deposits, the amount of payments, and the total for each. These should balance out. If you do see a difference listed, please note that transactions move from buyer to seller and not vice versa in the software. You will need to review the seller side on any of the pages. For instance, here's our seller paid columns. If you have something listed here and not in the borrower section, that could cause a difference. We do have an edit option for any of the transactions within the ledger. Again, you'll have the general transaction box open up and you'll be able to update the information accordingly. Once you hit save, the information will refresh in the ledger and you'll see that immediately. You can also remove payments with the trash can on the right. Another feature that we offer in our ledger is combining checks. If you need to print out a check and it's going to one party, you'll be able to choose 2 or more payments, click on Combine Checks, and your general transaction box will open up. You'll see that the amount automatically updates, so there's no reason to need a calculator. The software will do that for you. Once you've updated the information and you saved it, again, your ledger will update and you'll see those 4 payments that I chose as one transaction. We do offer a split check feature as well if you need to split the payments between 2 different parties. So I'll choose one transaction, click on split check. You'll get a split check transaction box. What you'll want to do is edit the first transaction. So I'm going to make this $200. I'm going to click OK. And now my split transaction box is going to show me what the original amount was, your current total, and the difference. So with the difference, you'll be able to create one new check or multiple. I'll click on Add New Check, mark my payee information, and I'm going to use the whole difference. Once I do that, you'll see that the original amount and the current total match, and again, no need for a separate calculator. The system will do it for you. Once I click OK, you'll see my 2 payments are now split. You'll see that we have a print checks option here. We do allow you to print checks directly from the software. You can check which transactions you'd like to print out, choose print checks, and then you'll be able to enter in your starting check number at the top and choose your specific check style. You can do the standard 3 checks or check and 2 stubs. You'll be able to choose the output format you'd prefer. It's automatically set to PDF, or you can choose Microsoft Word if you need to add anything on. Once I click download, I'll receive my download file. You'll see all of the information noted on here for those checks. And you'll even see the information that you've entered in the memo section will print on the checks. If you do not want that to print, you can clear that information out. Once you've added, edited, and updated the ledger accordingly, you will be able to print out a ledger statement. The ledger statement is going to give you a breakdown of everything in this specific ledger. It'll show you all the information at the top for the closing, your borrower, your seller, and your property address, your file number, your settlement date, and the transaction summaries. So the amount of deposits and the payments that we viewed when we initially went into the ledger. Below that will be the breakdown, your deposits and your payments, and the total at the bottom. Your buyer and your seller will be able to sign the ledger if you'd prefer, or you can just save a copy for your records. We also offer an export option. The export will give you an XML format file, and if you utilize Cosmolex for trust accounting, this matches what they require on their end. We also have an integration with Rhino, a third-party vendor that offers three-way reconciliation, real-time banking, and fraud protection. If you have an account with Rhino and you'd like to utilize their services with Easysoft Online, you can set up the integration under the account and bank accounts, set up the nickname, your account number, and check Rhino integration. This allows Rhino to transmit the information over every 10 minutes. You also have the ability to log into your Rhino account directly from the ledger. They are password protected, so you will need to log in each time. I had mentioned earlier that you are able to print checks from our software. We do offer a service if you'd like to. You can order checks through Easysoft. And if you go to easysoftchecks.com, you'll be able to download the order form there. Otherwise, we do support standard checks from your bank. If you have any questions, always remember you can access our support site from each page of Easysoft Online. You can access our live chat, which is available 9 through 6, Monday through Friday, East Coast time. You can open a support case anytime during the day or after hours, and you can always access our knowledge articles, which are being updated daily. You'll just click on knowledge articles, click Easysoft Online, and you can review any of the articles that we've already created. You can also use the search at the top for anything specific. For instance, you can search ledger. You'll be able to access the ledger information, and it'll give you a breakdown of specific options. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please keep an eye out for our upcoming educational webinars that we'll be running each month.